Welcome back. And as you can see, we have a guest with us. He's Mr. Suanu Moni. Money. And we're talking about money. So he's a chemical engineer by training. He's an avid infopreneur and investment fund manager. He currently serves as a realtor of SME Institute. He thrives on investing in businesses and technologies that have the potential to scale and transform lives. His overarching mission and focus is to use his God-given talents, time, and treasures to further the expansion of God's kingdom on earth. He accomplishes this purpose by stewarding, influencing, giving, and nurturing. Mr. Suanu is happily married to Letura, and they are blessed with 3 gorgeous children. Welcome, sir.
Thank you very much.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Charles.
So, we're going to be asking you a few questions about finances, and so you can throw more light on what certain things mean to you.
Okay.
So we'll just go right to it.
Okay.
All right. So, firstly, what does financial freedom mean to you?
Okay. So to me, financial freedom is living in abundance in such a way that you now become able to do what God has put you on this earth to do without worrying about money. That's freedom to me, financial freedom.
Oh, nice. Okay, just before we continue, those of us online, if you have any questions, please just put them down in the comment section and we would also attend to them. All right? So let's continue. These days we find out that a lot of young people are desperate about making money. They're so eager to make money. Why do you think that's the case right now?
Okay, so I'll try to guess, what it is, but I think it's because of the culture we live in today. We live in a microwave, I want it now, can I get it right now culture. So those values of hard work, patience, perseverance have literally been eroded from our society. And you always see on social media the fast way to do things. And so that kind of culture is what the young people, I believe, have imbibed.
Okay.
And so that's what is pushing them to, want to get things done, money
Really
fast. Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Now, talking about financial freedom, there should be some steps. There are steps that we can take to attain financial freedom. There are action steps that we can take.
So of course, the steps you can take. Now, I look at finances generally from a kingdom, or would I say biblical perspective. That's how I run my life. Yeah. So the world tells you to do things a certain way, but for me, I found through all my studies and sojourn, as it were, that the Bible is really the place to go when you want to find out about how to run your finances properly. So there are steps. First of all, in the kingdom of God, the first thing you do for you to even get to the point of financial freedom is to really focus on what you have been put on this earth to do. So if your aim is just to get money, you will struggle. But if your focus is to seek what you have been put on this earth to do, and that can only be determined by your maker. So seeking his face concerning, why did you put me on this earth? And by the time you get to know from him what it is, you find out that he makes everything available for you to accomplish that if you take on the task. So for me, money is not the goal. Okay? Even though we're talking about finances, it's really about going back to what was I born to do, or to deliver on this earth. Once you get that right, resources should show up. So that's the way to go in a nutshell.
Okay. So yes. Now, is tithing still relevant in wealth creation today?
In fact, when I hear that question, I always laugh because it is so crucial. Yeah. So a lot of people have heard about tithing from church and all of that, and there are a lot of debate going on even on social media about tithing. But the truth of the matter is, tithing is pivotal to wealth creation, or even getting access to wealth in the kingdom. So it is very relevant. I can spend another 30 minutes going up on it, but if to answer your question, yes, it's very relevant. You have to be a tither, especially if you're trying to pursue or go after finances the kingdom way.
Okay.
It's very important.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have this very interesting question. So I realized I'm psychologically comfortable with debt. How can I change this?
Okay.
And how can I create wealth? How can I create a wealth creation journey without any money?
Okay, so there are two things here.
Yes.
So the first is debt.
Yeah.
Now, like I said, I look at finances from a biblical standpoint. Yeah. So it is very clear in the Bible that the borrower is a slave to the lender. It's very clear. So whenever you look at finances or you start thinking about debt, know that you're going into slavery. That's number one. It has to be very clear. Now, if you're a slave, you really are at the mercy of your master. So in this case, it might be the banks or whatever financial institution or even individual that you've borrowed money from, because they can turn around and change the terms of the contract or the deal and put you further down into slavery. So for example, a bank, you get a loan from a bank at 10%, 12%, and you can comfortably pay that. Maybe you struggle a little bit, but you still make the payments. And then all of a sudden, in the fine print, they tell you that we can jack this percentage up at any time without any recourse to you. And next thing you see that you're paying 18, 20% with just an email that, look guys, we've changed our terms. And then you see people struggling. And that's when people start getting into things they're not supposed to get into. So for me, debt is not the way to go. Even though some people preach that it's okay, but I personally stay away from debt. And you can find that if you trust God completely as your source, He comes through for you. So it's an act of faith, really. So on the second point, I think you said, how can you go about wealth creation?
Yes. Go about create a wealth creation journey.
Okay.
Yes.
Without much
Without
money.
money. Yes.
Okay, so like I said, everything that you see today comes from the imagination. Yeah. And so if you start from that point, God has given us the beautiful gift of our minds. And like I say to a lot of people I come across, in Africa specifically, we are surrounded with a lot of problems. I don't look at it as a bad thing. Actually, it's a very good thing, because where there are problems, you can find solutions to them.
Okay.
And so as a Christian person, as a young believer, all you need to do is go to God concerning a problem, maybe in society, in your neighborhood or something, and ask Him for the solution. Because if you listen to the Lord's Prayer, there's a point where you get to where He says, on earth as it is in heaven. So you need to be going to God in prayer to say, I'm seeing some things on earth that are not working well. How would it be if it was in heaven? And He will download some answers to you. And by the time you're implementing those things, you're going to be creating value. And money flows to value. So without even having money, so long as you have good ideas, and not just good ideas, God ideas, you're going to create value, and it's going to attract money. So that's how to go about it.
Okay. I think you've touched on the next question, but I'm still going to ask because it's still a bit technical. Now, which is more important in making wealth, time or value?
Okay, so really, when it comes to wealth, it's about value. Yeah. So it doesn't matter if you go to an organization and you spend 20 hours there.
Okay.
In fact, there are some people who go to the same organization and spend 2 hours, but in that 2 hours, they're going to create a lot of value and they're going to get paid for that. But you that spend 20 hours sitting around, you're not going to get much out of it. So really, in the equation of wealth, value is what's more important.
Okay. Okay. Now, this is another pretty interesting question. It says, some school of thought say saving is old-fashioned,
Yeah.
right? Now, money should never lie dormant. How can I make money work for me?
Okay. So I subscribe to that school of thought. Money shouldn't lie dormant. So I'll take it back to the Bible again. If you know, or if you've read the parable of the talents, you had the third servant who kept his money hidden in the ground. Yeah? And you could see when the master came back, he wasn't very happy with him. So really, you shouldn't, he said, even if you knew I was a hard man, you should have at least put the money to use, given it to the bankers and returned an interest for me. So really, you shouldn't put money lying away. At the same time, I would caution against taking your money without thinking about what it is you want to do and then just rushing into anything that comes up. Yeah, so you have to be a good steward of your money, but at the same time, you must be very knowledgeable about what field you want to employ that money in. Yeah, and then do that prayerfully, and then hopefully you should get some good returns.
Okay, but I'm curious. Shouldn't there be some form of savings, regardless of the fact that?
No, of course. So don't get me wrong. I'm not saying take all your money and throw it away. So practically, you must have what I term a rainy day fund. Yeah. So if you're living in a country like Nigeria, and maybe you have a job because you're a young professional. Now, as you can see, the economic climate is not very rosy right now, and anything can happen. So for you to stay afloat without running helter-skelter, it's really advised that you get or put away at least 6 months of your running costs away in a savings account that you can get access to immediately. Because what that means is, if, for example, you lose your job today, you can run your life for another 6 months at the same level of your current level of living without any stress, and hopefully in 6 months you're able to get something else, to carry on. Yeah. So it's important to save some money. I call it a rainy day fund that you can put away for, depending on you might want to have it for a year, 6 months, 3 months, depending on how quickly you think you can bounce back when something happens.
Okay. Now, skill or degree, which is more crucial?
Okay.
Wealth creation?
So in wealth creation, I wouldn't say it's either or. It just depends on how you're wired, what your makeup is. So if you have a skill, for example, and you're an artist, going to do a PhD is not going to help much. Yeah? You're an artist, and you have an innate talent that you have developed over time. I think in that situation, the skill is very important. But then you could be a professional, and maybe growing in your industry would require you to have an advanced degree. Then please, you just need to go for that. So it's not either or. It's find out what you are made of and what your strength areas are, and then apply it. So it could be skill, it could be educational degree. Then go for it.
All right, so we have a question from our online viewers. It says, "Sir, I'm 24 years old with just 200,000 naira savings. What's the way to invest my money?"
Okay, so specifically 200,000 to some people might not seem like much, but it's a lot of money. Yeah. So you have a lot. In fact, you have a good start right now. Yeah. If you have 200,000 that you're thinking about what to do with, it's a good place to be. But I always don't necessarily tell people do this, do that, because like I said, it's down to you. Okay. For example, someone like me, I'm not really comfortable with real estate, even though a lot of people make money in real estate and do well. But because it's not my thing, I would not go into real estate. So you need to find out, first of all, what is your passion? What is it that you get excited about? And then start channeling your money. Start small. Don't put the whole 200,000 in it. Okay. Start small. You can take maybe like a 10,000, 20,000 and try that business out and see how it goes. But the truth of the matter is, if you're passionate about something and you go and do the research to learn more about that field, you do well. So it doesn't matter what field you put your money in terms of investments, but you have to be knowledgeable about it.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So let's proceed. We have a few more questions for you. What, in your opinion, are the top 5 skills needed at this time, this crucial time where we're with COVID and everything?
Okay. So very good question. Very, very good question indeed. In my opinion, the top 5 skills are: number 1, you have to be a good learner.
Okay.
Because this world has changed so drastically that if you're not a learner, you'll be left behind. Okay? And the second thing, as you can see, is communication. So you might know everything in the world. If you can't communicate it, it's going to be a problem. So the next skill, like I just mentioned, is communication. The third skill, I think, is the ability to network. Yeah.
Okay.
So you should be able to touch base with people, because nobody is an island.
True.
So whatever you need in this world, there's somebody that has it. So the question is, how can you connect to what you need? Yeah. So that's networking. The fourth thing I would say is you must know how to sell. Yeah. So learning how to sell is, so communication is one thing, and the ability to sell is to showcase the value that you carry. Yeah. Okay. Some people are very good communicators, they're social. However, when it comes to selling the value that they carry, they're shy. So that's a skill that you need. Okay. So I think I've done 4 now.
Yes.
And then final one, I think, is a technical skill that a lot of people should start getting into. It's coding.
Coding?
Yes. Coding. You should at least know about it. And then if you can try your hands at it, please do, because the world is turning. Everything you do right now is online. There's some people that are sitting in their pajamas and boxer shorts and making millions of dollars because they have that skill. And that skill will be increasingly sought after. So if you can get into it, please do, but learn about it. Yeah.
I once tried to learn coding. It was a tough task.
It was tough task.
Yes. So I just
it's not for everybody.
I had to let go of that first.
Okay.
Maybe I'll go back to it. So moving forward, what is your money philosophy?
Okay. So my philosophy about money is not a goal for me. Money is actually a tool.
A tool?
Yes.
Okay.
So money is a tool that I use to accomplish my assignment on the earth. So I don't chase after money. I just find out what the assignment is. Okay. Position, talk to my manufacturer. He gives me some ideas. I execute it, and money comes. And then I should use that money to do more things. So it's not a goal in itself, okay, but it's a tool that I use to accomplish my assignment.
Okay.
Yeah, that's my philosophy.
Okay. So now, how would you spend $1 million if you received it right now?
That's very easy. If I get $1 million, I'm going to divide it into 5 equal places. So that's 200, 200, 200, 5 places. I'm going to first of all pay my tithe, 10%. The second 10%, I'm going to give out to charity. The third, so that's 20 gone. The next 20%, I'm going to invest in my current businesses. The third 20%, I'm going to spend on myself, buy a new car maybe, do things I want to do. And then the fourth 20%, I'm going to give it to my wife.
Okay.
And then the fifth 20%, I give it to my children.
Wow.
So 200, 200, 200. That's
okay.
it.
Okay. So let me expand that question a bit.
Okay.
Now, if you had all the money in the world, right? Yeah. What would you do?
Exact same thing.
Exact same thing. Okay. I just wanted to expand it. Maybe there might be an addition because now it's all the money in the world.
Yeah,
yes.
same thing.
Okay, so we have another question from our online viewers. So why are Christians poor and most of the billionaires in the world seem to be non-Christians?
Fantastic question. So I teach this in my classes. Money does not respect religion.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
doesn't. Money answers to stewardship. And if you notice, even Jesus, when he talked about the parables, he always talked about money and how well people handled it.
Yeah.
So you can see that it is not about how much you pray, how much you fast. In fact, if you like, you can fast till your intestines come out. You're not going to be rich.
Okay. Yeah.
Money only answers to proper stewardship. And if you see a lot of the guys in the world, they understand it, they steward it, they multiply it, and it comes back to them. Because money is a good servant. It likes people sending it on errands, and it comes back with more money. It goes to bring more of his brothers back. But the typical Christian is a spender. They get money, they go and spend it. They don't think about how this money is going to go and bring more of his brothers back. So you find out that regardless of what you claim to profess, if you're not a good steward, you're going to be poor. Doesn't matter whether you're a Christian, Muslim, Hindu, Buddhist, doesn't matter.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's it.
All right. So I was just going to ask you one of the questions that we asked our viewers. We asked in the streets when we went out. If you had a choice between 500,000 giveaway and 2 million naira worth of training on how to make money, what would you go for? I'm going to expand yours a bit. What would you go for and why?
So if someone was to give me 500K
Yes. So that it gives
cash,
you an option. Take 500K or 2 million naira worth of training
yeah,
on how to make money.
of course, very easy. I'll take 2 million.
Why?
So because you see, the biggest asset you have is your mind. Like I mentioned earlier on, everything you see today was created from somebody's mind. You see this beautiful building we're in, somebody thought about it. So you must develop your biggest asset. Forget about buying cars, houses, and all those things. If you develop your mind enough, you can get all of them. So for me, I prioritize development of my mind over anything. So that's how it works, because the greater my mind, or the bigger my mind is, the more I can dream, the more I can envision, and the more I can achieve.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much. So at this point, I'm just going to let you say a few things to our viewers.
Okay.
Lighten them. I can't know one or two for them.
Okay. So when I get told to do this, normally I would spend about 30 minutes to an hour, but I think the time is very short, maybe about 10 minutes. Yeah, 10, 15 minutes. Okay, so, well, basically, since I'm speaking to a Christian audience, I'd like to say that when it comes to money, you don't have to see money as a goal, or else you're going to miss it completely. First of all, you need to find out who you are, why you're here. Once you're able to find out those two things, and then get into a relationship with God, He's going to talk to you more about why He has put you on this earth. And then you can now begin to seek Him concerning the things He has asked you to do on the earth. As you diligently do that, you start attracting money. Because He gives you ideas, like I said, and those ideas is what is going to bring value into the world you live in. And as you bring value to the world you live in, you're going to attract money. Because money chases after value. So first things first, don't chase money. Chase a relationship with God. After that, as you walk with Him, He begins to open your mind. He begins to renew your mind. He begins to tell you things about what you're supposed to be doing on earth. As you look around you, you begin to see things that are not working, and you ask Him for solutions to those things. He gives them to you, and then you create wealth. So in a nutshell, I would say, let us not be conformed to what the world is doing. The world is chasing after money. We are not supposed to be chasing after money, but we're supposed to be chasing after a relationship with God. Once you get that right, every other thing, like in Matthew 6:33. Once you seek first his kingdom and his righteousness, which actually means right standing with him. Yeah, being in the right place where he wants you to be, which is understanding your purpose.
Okay.
He would add every other thing to you, including money.
Okay.
So that scripture is so true. It's worked for me and a lot of people that I know. So I don't know, do I still have some more time?
Yes, please.
I still, okay, good. Once you take care of that, then the next thing is ignorance. So a lot of people are very religious. And I tell you that being religious does not guarantee you success. I know it sounds weird, but being religious doesn't guarantee you success, especially in the arena of wealth creation, finances. Yeah? What guarantees you success is the amount of enlightenment you have. So some people have issues with their finances, and then they spend a lot of time reading about relationships. But the problem is your finances. And the Bible says, my people perish for lack of knowledge. So where is the area where you lack knowledge? It's finances. So you need to be spending a lot of time reading, developing in that area. The more you develop, the more light comes in that area. As light comes, it illuminates everything in that area for you. And then you now find out that you are out of ignorance and into the light, and you begin to see clearly. Yeah, so please don't be religious. That's what I'm trying to say to the viewers. Seek to understand what area you're most deficient in. And if it is in the area of finances, start buying books. Start reading about great men and women who have gone ahead of you to tame this money that everybody is looking for. And the books are cheap. And I say books are cheap because regardless of whether a book is 10,000 naira, what it took for that individual to write that book and to share his experience or her experience is way more than 10,000 naira. And it is going to save you from spending another 10 years of your life groping in the dark if you can get the right books, read them, and start applying them in your life. So for me, these sort of books are like, cheat sheets on how to get a fast track in life. So please read. Forget about all the things people are doing on social media. You have to educate yourself because the area where you have the most light is the area you're going to succeed the most in. So that's another thing I want to drop with you people.
Okay. I was actually told that you have more time so you can actually go on.
Yeah? Okay. So I've talked about two things now.
Yes.
Yeah, so maybe the third thing I want to talk about is really for the Christian person. Now, a lot of times you see a lot of people in church tell you, well, I pray, I'm a worker in church, but things don't seem to be going very well for me financially. And I attend all the prayer sessions, fasting and all of that. And like I said, prayer and fasting doesn't guarantee you success in wealth creation. Now, the reason I say that is because those two things are vehicles. Yeah? Some people tell you prayer is the key. Prayer is not the key. Prayer is a vehicle. So imagine, put your thinking cap on. You're trying to get somewhere. You hail a taxi. You get into the vehicle. The vehicle takes you to the place you're headed to. You come out of the taxi. The taxi has done its job, right? Okay. And then you get to the building. You have to open the door. True. Now, so you need a key to open the door. If you don't have that key, you can stand at that location for 100 days fasting. Doesn't matter. Without that key, you can't open the door. So in the kingdom, wealth is located inside the kingdom. So you need the keys to wealth, to actually access wealth. So whether you prayed and fasted, you've only just gotten to the location where the wealth resides. But you can't access it without a key. Now the key, like I've been saying, is stewardship, proper stewardship. Because the Bible tells you, if you're faithful in little things, I'm going to give you more. So he tests you with what you have in your hand right now. So it might be 5 naira, it might be 50,000, it might be 100,000. You might say it's not so big, but what are you doing with 50,000? If you can demonstrate stewardship with 50,000, then God says, well, I think I can give him 500,000. But where you can't demonstrate stewardship, that's it. That door is going to keep getting shut in your face because the key to open the door to wealth in the kingdom is stewardship. Yeah. So that is, don't take it lightly. If you're online, rewatch this again. That is the secret. I'm telling you. It's not about prayer. It's not about. I'm not saying those things are not good, but like I said, they're vehicles, and they can only take you that far, so far, especially in the wealth creation journey. Once you get there, you need a key. That key is proper stewardship. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I hope you learned as much as I did, because if you noticed I was typing, I was taking some notes down, despite the fact that I'm hosting. I mean, I need to learn too. So, I sincerely want to apologize again for us starting late. It was due to some technical issues, but it wouldn't happen again. And once again, this is the light room, where God's word illuminates what young people are going through today. We talk about relationships, we talk about different things that youths, young people are going through. And our next light room is going to be on the 28th of September by 6 p.m. It's a monthly program. It's a monthly program. And also, Cling, for those of you that follow us on Elevate, Cling comes up on Friday, the 2nd of September, this Friday. This Friday. So don't miss it. It's by 6 p.m. Are we together? All right, so if this is your first time, please indicate in the comment section. Someone will reach out to you. Thank you so much for being part of today's event, and I'd like to appreciate you for being here. We're looking forward to hopefully bringing you on a more intense topic, so that we can pick your brain and get a few more things. Thank you so much.
It's a pleasure being here, honestly.
All right, so until we meet again next month by 6 p.m. Bye.
Bye. Thank you.